Welcome back to our Forever Pond series. In this series, we're going to go over everything that we added on to our pond to get the most out of its function and its beauty. When we first bought the property, moved onto the property, we immediately knew we would want to approach the property in a way where we can use the property and give back to land at the same time. 1 year, we planted some flowers, not intentionally planting them or doing anything strategic by any means. We just did it for fun. That is something we fell absolutely in love with. It was so easy to do, so beautiful. We wanted to take that tiny sliver and put it into the entire front field that just wasn't being used, and create this sanctuary for not just ourselves, but other people to come visit too. That's kind of where the inspiration came from. You know, originally we were envisioning this just wild, kind of unkept field full of just flowers, something like we've never actually seen in person before. You can walk and frolic through a field and it's just beautiful field filled with tons of flowers. We quickly realized that it's probably not entirely possible to get giant flowers like we wanted. We knew it would have to be managed somehow and be designed properly to where not only the flowers are able to be huge and beautiful, but where it's actually easy to enjoy it and to walk through it. We realized really quickly we would need irrigation, low maintenance as much as possible, and enjoyable, so you're not getting eaten up by bugs. For the flowers to be beautiful and big and to be able to grow just how we wanted them, we needed some kind of water source to water them. It also needs to be easy to walk through it. So we knew they needed to be in rows, which would work perfectly too for the irrigation. That's how that would have to be set up. Along with that, for easy maintenance, we needed the plastic mulch on top.
The really big reason that we did plastic mulch is it accomplished a couple things. First of all, it warms up the soil, so it gives us a much better growing environment for the plants and for their roots. The next thing is it holds in all the moisture that's put directly under them. So underneath the plastic mulch is the drip irrigation lines that irrigate the flowers. And that plastic mulch prevents any evaporation from the water to occur.
So we had this empty field up in the front, just not being used. We wanted to use it for something eventually. This property is a multi-purpose property where we are doing a lot of different things that we'll get into on lots of other videos. So it was the perfect spot, we knew, for the flower field. We just needed to understand, where is our water gonna come from? We had different options. There could be a well. We could try to dig that well and we wouldn't know for sure if you're gonna hit water and at what depths you're gonna hit water, and if the pressure would even be good for what we needed it for. We could go off of rural or city water. That could maybe be an option. You'd probably have great pressure, but the cost to use the water was a con. Or we could pump it out of the pond. There's natural fertilizer in the pond. And so the idea of having all that fertile water being pumped into the flowers just seemed so obvious and so perfect.
So now that we had our plan set up and ready to go, we began the process of actually going and making it a reality.
We started out by making these rows. We had a special piece of equipment that would go over these rows and hill them up into little mounds for all the flower rows, and put drip tape and the plastic mulch down at the same time. After we made the mounds, we planted all of our flowers. We planted all of them by hand, and we were able to turn on the water probably a couple times a week whenever they needed it, and they just grew. And everything seemed to be really, really beautiful. However, we quickly realized there was a lot of problems.
Everything that went wrong stemmed across every single aspect of the entire project. Every single piece had some sort of little problem. The first item was the actual irrigation and the pumps and whatnot. Picking a pump turned out to be quite difficult because we just went with the cheapest pump option we could possibly find. And we kept having issues with that pump not starting throughout the entire year. So we learned from there that, okay, we need to install different check valves and backwater valves in the system to make sure whatever water gets pumped into the field doesn't flow back through the pump back into the pond. So that fixed that problem. The next really big issue was the grading of the property. And this whole flower field had quite a few little ups and downs through it as you go across the field. But every time it would rain, or if we would leave the irrigation on all day, each of those dips would pool up with water and it would start to become a muddy mess. And then before you know it, the grass started to die there. So we had to fix the grading. And then the very last thing, and probably the most irritating thing, was the direction of the rows.
You could see that they would get this fungus on them, and that comes from the lack of proper airflow.
Because all the rows ran against the direction of the wind. That was causing a bunch of issues with mildew and mold and diseases on the actual plants. And then at the same time, it also kind of presented some of the neighbors' houses in the pictures. So you'd have to get really creative with the way that you take pictures in the area to actually make them look somewhat decent.
We thought we were doing everything the right way. And so as these issues presented themselves, it was like, oh my gosh, what the heck are we getting into? Like, we're gonna have to redo everything. It would be starting over completely. It was terrible. Okay, so it was take everything out, start all the way over.
Yeah, we know what doesn't work now.
Yeah, we know exactly what doesn't work.
We had to switch all the rows a completely different direction. We had to turn the whole thing 90 degrees.
Pull everything out. We pulled all of the mulch back up.
So through our whole design process, we were able to actually create a plan that one of our dozers can read. And basically, we can put that plan on the dozer, and the dozer was able to grade the entire front field within like an inch of what we had designed and planned. And that really helped with making sure that everything drains appropriately. After we completely regraded the entire thing, we went through and did all the irrigation all over again. We installed many more irrigation lines. Now we know what size pipe we need, what size pressure regulators we need on all of our pipes. And now we know, hey, we have to pump the water uphill. So we got all that in place.
We just started everything early in the high tunnel. And so starting in a high tunnel, you can get a go on everything very early. And we thought, that's gonna be no problem. We just regrade it all, reinstall all of it, know exactly what we're doing. We ran into the most delays and equipment breakdowns.
The trencher broke down, the skid steer broke down, a track fell off, it rained its freaking ass off.
It was like the one moment where we're available. We go out there and it starts raining and it just is pouring down. It's like, well, now you gotta wait another 3 days for it to dry out. And that would happen continuously throughout the spring.
At that point, it kept raining, so we're like, okay, let's at least get our rows tilled in. Because at this point, the season's kind of moving along, and before we knew it, we're in 75, 80 degree days during the year.
And all the plants, they were ready to go. And we were not ready to go. The plants were growing and growing and growing, and we couldn't put them anywhere, and they were about to die.
So we had to get them out of their little pots and into the ground.
And so we started popping some flowers in the ground, and there was no irrigation to water them. And so we were watering by hand for like 2 or 3 weeks. By hand, in the dark. I remember having like our headlamps on. We were supposed to have like an 85 or 90 degree day. So if we weren't to get water on those, all of our plants would have roasted, all of them. And they were already not looking so good. We weren't sure if the plants were even gonna survive or not.
All the pipes coming out of the ground were there, but all the valves and backflow preventers and pressure regulators, all that had to get installed. So we had to go and source all those items and then get them ordered. And then of course they were on back order. And then we finally get them all installed and connected, and then we kept having issues with our stupid pump.
I don't even know how we got lucky with this. They barely survived. Ryan got this irrigation system finally finalized, and he got it done just in time, or else they would have all died. Everything finally actually started to turn a little bit more green, not yellow anymore, and not looking pretty stressed, and everything slowly but surely started to grow. We have the foundation for everything set up really well. The irrigation is perfect. All the rows are easily maintainable. They're easy to walk, easy to enjoy. We've had family and friends out there. We've been able to cut some flowers and make some beautiful bouquets. Lots of pollinators out there. We've saved so much by just using the pond instead of hooking up to like city water or rural water where you have to pay for the water. Because I mean, this is water that's coming from the sky, from runoff, and from spring water. It's so fresh and it's so fertile. You can't really beat that.
Are you happy
Yeah.
with the result?
Yes. Oh my gosh, compared to where we started, it's 10 times better. It was all worth it in the end. Anytime you're around flowers, whether it's you're dealing with loss or you're celebrating something or you're just trying to get away and detox and connect back with nature, that was what I wanted other people to feel like and what we wanted to create. It's more of a feeling than anything.